Well, Coach, your Aztecs, Brian Dutch with us now on Xtra 1360. Dutch, good morning. You tired of doing interviews yet?
No, as long as we're winning, I'll do them all.
That's good.
When you're losing, you want to avoid them.
But I know you, Dutch, and you always do them all. We appreciate it so much. Listened to the coach's show last night. Great job. Sorry I missed it, but hope to be back with you next week. Dutch, listen, momentum is a thing in sports. But Saturday night was so great that I've almost appreciated that we've had a number of days to continue to celebrate it. Where did Saturday night, with the big win, with the Kawhi Leonard jersey retirement, where did that stack up for you and your experiences just being around basketball and in the college basketball game?
It was electric. I mean, to have Kawhi there, getting his jersey put up in the rafters, to play the team that was picked unanimously to win the league on your home floor, to be down at halftime and find a way to fight back and get a victory. It was like the perfect storm on Saturday, and it's one of those things where 12,414 were there, but in 5 years, 50,000 will say they were there.
Dutch, in your mind as you're coaching him, did you ever think in terms of Kawhi Leonard was going to climb to the heights that he did in professional basketball?
I've said it. I thought he had a chance to be a good NBA player, but nowhere in my wildest dreams did I envision him being arguably one of the top 1, 2, or 3 players in the world. And so that's a credit to Kawhi, his work ethic. He knew he was good, and he put the work in to prove it to everybody else.
Dutch, the adversity that your team, we've kind of talked about it because I think at times it would be easy to just look at your record and go, wow, they haven't really faced adversity or had to overcome bouncing back from things. But, there's been a lot of weight in your season that you've had to deal with, whether the first time you became the only undefeated team or trying to break the record of a 20-0, or, your team looked to be a little starstruck of Kawhi Leonard when he walked into the building. What do you make of the grit of your team, albeit having suffered a loss yet at 23-0?
Yeah, the adversity you fear the most is losing games, because that can separate a team, that can cause disruption. But we've had some adversity. Nathan Mensah losing our starting center for the extended period of time we have. Agwuka Rope dealing with a shoulder injury. Getting down in games. So we haven't had the major adversity, but we've had some that I think have toughened the team up a little bit, especially the come-from-behind victories are always good to see what your team is made with.
Dutch, where is Nathan health-wise in this season?
He's able to do non-contact stuff. So we work him out every day. We lift him. We run him. If we're doing a drill where it's just guard, screen, and roll with bigs and no contact, he can do that. But he's still got a ways to go. My greatest hope would be to have him back in the tournament.
Brian Dutch with us on Xtra 1360. Aztecs and Air Force tomorrow night in Colorado Springs. It's a 5 o'clock start, pregame 4:30 right here on Xtra 1360. Dutch, I heard Seth Greenberg raving about your team on ESPN. He said that you guys have Final Four national championship DNA. What do you make of that?
Well, I hope he's right. I don't know how often he's been right, but I hope he's right about that. So who knows? I mean, I always say about the NCAA tournament, and we've got work to do yet, obviously, to get there and put ourselves in a position with a good seed. But you could shake it up and start it over with the same 64 teams or 68 teams, and you'd have a different champion. So it's matchups, it's timing of who you play, when you play. And so sometimes the most talented and best teams don't win. Sometimes the hottest team wins, the team with the draw that suits them best. So it's hard to project what you're going to do in the tournament until you get in there, first of all, and then find out what your road is.
What team can hit you in the weak spot of your team that you're trying to overcome?
I think, the ultra-athletic team with length and athleticism, someone that just out-athletes us, maybe out-lengths us, and not having Nathan, it sets it up for that. When we have Nathan, we're as big as anybody. We could play with the Iowas and hold Garza, potential player of the year, to 9 points. So that's why I think hopefully getting Nathan back come tournament time will give us some more length and size that I think we'll need at that time.
Aztecs head coach Brian Dutch with us. Aztecs on the road at Air Force tomorrow afternoon. Our coverage gets underway at 4:30. Dutch, every one of your players that we have had on this radio station, not just this show, but Darren Smith's show, the Loose Cannons, they're all very professional for the age that they are, and just keeping their mind on what is next, not what is way down the road. Is that something you've had to hammer with them, or does it come from having a team that has such veteran leadership?
I think it's the kids. I mean, they're the ones that should be getting all the credit because there was a game at Staples before he played Utah, and I had my mind made up what I was going to say to the team to set the tone. And as I was walking in the locker room, I heard them talking about the same thing amongst themselves. Like, we have to do this and we have to do that. So at that point, I knew this team is player-driven. That's what great teams are. And then it allows me just to guide them. I don't have to ride them every day and demand that this is how they have to feel about things. They feel that way. So it's a credit to them and their maturity.
Dutch, tell us about Air Force. Tell us about this matchup tomorrow night on Xtra.
It's all about the three-point shot. You know, they make 9 a game, and if we run into a game where they make 12 or 14, it's going to be a long night. And so we have to do our best to defend the three. It's a Princeton offense, so there's obviously back cutting, and they drive a little bit more than a traditional Princeton offense where they spread the floor. But they shoot it from 5 spots. If their center all of a sudden steps out and makes 2 or 3, those are the nights where they're really hard to guard. So we have to take away the 3 ball, and that's how teams beat you. They get threes, or you turn it over and they get fast break baskets. So we have to do a good job of limiting their 3-point makes.
Are you allowing yourself to stop and smell the roses here and there as you guys continue on this wonderful trek, or is it were you going to wait until it's over?
Maybe in small doses, not a whole lot, because I'm not wired that way. You know, I'm worried about still hanging a banner. That's my number one goal right now. I don't want to think about the tournament. I want to win enough games where we hang a banner as regular season champions. And then I'll move on to the next thing once we are able to do that. So I'm pretty singularly focused on the next task and just trying to make sure we don't slip up along the way.
We're trying to stomp and smell the roses. Listen, for you, I get it. You've been on the coaching staff and walked on the floor as a national champion before. I mean, you've been to Sweet 16s. You've had undefeated runs. But, you know, for your team, Dutch, to not really have any sort of preseason ranking that would give us even an indication that you would be headed towards where we stand now, it's important for us to say it out loud. 23-0, 23-0, and number 4 in the country. This is us all smelling the roses together.
That's it. And I love the fact that the Aztec community's behind us, the city's behind us, and that, you know, we're having all this success. I think it's good for all of us. But at the same time, somebody amongst this masses has to try to keep us on point. So, I'm volunteering for that job. I got to try to, you know, like I said, when I worked with Coach, it was always play off someone else. Like, if everybody was mad, then I'd be happy. If everybody was happy, then I'd be mad to try to ground them. So I'm just trying to keep them grounded, keep them moving in the right direction, and not let them get full of themselves, yet at the same time enjoy this ride.
You're the perfect eye in the heart of the red and black hurricane.
That's it.
That's the perfect way to describe it. Yeah.
Dutch, would a loss do you some good if it didn't really cost you? Would a loss do everyone some good or no?
I don't think so.
Good.
I don't think a loss would do us any good. I want to keep riding it. If we could finish up undefeated, that would be a miracle season, you know, and that's what the goal is, to win every game we play. Now, like I said, I'm not naive enough. I look at Villanova, who's got a very good team, and then Creighton beat them at their place last week, and then you look up, we got to go to Butler. Then they hit a road game and lose. So then you're number 10 in the country, you lose 2 games. So I'm not naive enough to think it can't happen, so that's why I work so hard to try to make sure we don't lose that first one, because I always know it can snowball into another one. So I'm singly focused on Air Force. They've beaten Utah State in there. They've beaten Boise in there, so they played good basketball at home. Not as good on the road, but we don't have them at Viejas. We have to go to Colorado Springs and battle them in there.
Dutch, your team has earned all the success that you guys have. We cannot wait to see what happens Saturday night. Keep it rolling. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Dutch.